वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्राणेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नमस्तुते ॐ ज्ञानपूर्णस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददातु स्वपदं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदां सहगणवन्ता श्रीशान्तिश्च कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गे राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये काञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च प्रतीकानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण जय श्री सुभक्तराधास की कृष्ण कृष्ण श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी की नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी द्वारा तीर्थं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं पुनः वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनकारिणं हरे कृष्ण. So, yeah, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, Text 14. But we'll just go a little bit and see what's the context of all this. So this is about atonement. So this is a discussion about atonement. So the Vishnu Dvita, they are giving the reason why Ajamil has become free from sinful reactions. So there is the method of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies by which we atone meaning that we become free from the sinful reactions. But there is a problem, and this is what is discussed here. The problem is that even though we do this, the prayaschitta, but once the sinful reaction is removed, meaning that we stop suffering. For example, if I have spoken badly to somebody, then other people will speak badly to me. They will harass me because I'm so strong with my words against others, right? So the reaction would be that I will get criticized. So then we do some type of atonement for whatever it is, stress management we call it, right? These days, we do stress management. And we say, okay, let's distribute some sweets to bind back the relationship. This type, I'm just giving very ordinary, everyday life thing. Okay. But then again, the other person, irritates me or whatever happens, or I myself in my heart, I start feeling jealous of something. Then what happened? Again, I will speak badly about the person. So it doesn't go away. So it's like back and forth, back and forth. So, and then we continue to suffer and be miserable. So here, experts say the ritualistic ceremonies of atonement recommended in the religious scriptures are insufficient to cleanse the heart absolutely, because after atonement, one's mind again runs towards material activities. So, but with chanting of the holy name, the dirt from one's heart is completely cleansed. So we have in text 14, is it? So at the time of death, this Ajamil, helpless and very loudly chanted the holy name of the Lord Narayan. That chanting alone had already freed him from the reactions of all sinful life. Therefore, O servants of Yamaraj, where is it? O servants of Yamaraj, do not try to take him to your master for punishment in hellish conditions. Text 14. Now, okay. Yeah, text 14. Sanketyam parihasyam va stoham helanameva vaikuntha nama grahanam visheshadha haram vidhu. So now a list of situations in which we chant the holy name is discussed. So how that this holy name is so powerful. Now we notice that Ajamil, he was chanting Narayan to indicate his son. But the original Narayan, whose name is Narayan, he came running and he sent his flute. Shrikala, can you read this translation?
In हिंदी,
Yes.
जो व्यक्ति भगवान नाम का कीर्तन करता है वह तुरंत असीम पापों के फलों से मुक्त कर दिया जाता है। भले ही उसने यह कीर्तन अप्रत्यक्ष रूप में कुछ अन्य संकेत करने के लिए, हंसीने, संगीतमय मनोरंजन के लिए अथवा उपेक्षा भाव से क्यों न किया हो, इसे शास्त्रों के सभी विद्वान पंडित स्वीकार करते हैं। कृष्ण।
Sanketyam, as an assignation. He didn't mean it indirectly, he was chanting. He meant something else, some other object. Sankirtan, like he meant some other object. But that object had the same name as Nama, Sankirtan. Then, jokingly, not mean it, just jokingly, or musical entertainment, just chanting as musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. Even neglectfully is chanted. This is accepted by all the learned scholars of the scriptures. See, this list that's being given here, it's showing the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or the name of Narayan. It's showing the potency. But it doesn't mean that we initiated devotees, we should chant like this. Correct? We agree with this? If we chant like this, right, how will progress? Jokingly, musical entertainment, neglectfully. So for meaning that it is, this Mahamantra is so merciful. So the holy name is a person, Nam Prabhu, right? We say Nam Holy is a person, is Krishna himself. Krishna is very merciful that even though we don't mean to chant his holy name, but somehow or other, we are chanting the holy name. So Krishna is attracted. But if being initiated, right, we get diksha after many years of practice. So if we will chant only for musical entertainment, or will chant negligently, do you think is it not going to be Namaparad? What do you think?
Namaparad.
Isn't it going to be Namaparad? So it's okay for those who are not chanting at all, right? Actually, when I'm reading this section, I will recommend that all of you study two books. One is Nectar of Devotion. Somehow or other, you have to study this Nectar of Devotion because lot and lot of very scientific detail is given about what is bhakti and how bhakti eradicates sinful desires. And I'm not able to do it simply by reading these verses. But when you study Nectar of Devotion, so I think a number of devotees are teaching online Nectar of Devotion. Please join those courses. And there is another book that you must study. This is Madhurya Kadambini. In Madhurya Kadambini, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains about these aparad that we do. This section is in depth explained. But for me, I'm not able to go too much in depth, so I'm not able to really explain. I'm doing my best. But if I'm to teach, I need a whiteboard and I need a few hours. And I'm not able to do it. So, but I'm just explaining very casually. And listen. I've already said that VIHE.org has audio recordings. And there is one section on holy name. There are retreats with holy name. There are hundreds of lectures on holy name. All right, and Nectar of Devotion also is there. I don't know what Madhurya Kadambini is. Let's see. Text 15. Patita Skalito Bhakna Sandashtastabta Ahataha Hariritya Shenaha Uman Arhati Yatanaha. Devahuti, you want to read?
Hare Krishna translation. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam Yam Vapi Smaran Bhavam Tyajati Ante Kalevaram Tam Tam Evati Kaunteya Sada Tad Bhava Bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he is naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without such practice, however, if one somehow or the other chants the holy name of the Lord Hare Krishna When he meets with an accident and dies, he will be saved from hellish life after death.
Yes. I think we should invite somebody to give a seminar on this. You know, because I'm remembering too many things that I have heard, you know, from my Guru Maharaj, from Bhakti Swami, from Chaitanya Swami. Too many things, and I'm not able to give you everything. So, maybe, I hope you will attend if you organize classes on this holy name. Text 16. Gurunam cha laghunam cha Guruni cha laghunam cha Prayaschitani papanam Yatvoktani maharshibhi. Text 16. Mirabai, you want to read?
Translation by Divine Wish, Srila Prabhupada. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for the heaviest sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for higher sins
Or
by
lighter sins.
undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. Purport. In this regard, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhan, and since according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya's daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor. Samba abducted her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kauravas. Later, when Lord Balram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, Balram showed his power in such a way that all of Hastinapur trembled and would have been vanquished as if a great earthquake. Then the matter was settled and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equaled in the material world. However powerful the reactions of one's sins, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hare Krishna, Balram, or Narayan.
Yes. So this is the power of the holy name. But it doesn't matter whether the same, you know, in India, it is well known. As soon as there is some, you know, disaster, something in the mind or whatever, we go to see an astrologer, right? Why we go to astrologers? Because we want to know, you know, I don't know whether people ask about the reason for their suffering. If they're little intelligent, they may ask the reason for their suffering, but maybe they just say, when will it be over?
How soon will I be relieved?
Okay,
And
when?
give me the remedies.
Yeah, and what should I do? So I should do this puja, I should go to the temple, give charity, I should feed the poor, I should do this, and then be over, right? So here, so we have already discussed that even though I do those external atonement remedies, right? But I don't address the problem. See, the thing is that we have to remember that we are yogis. We have undertaken the path of Bhakti Yoga. Yoga, by definition, means that we are attempting to control the mind and senses, right? So that, number one, we don't commit sinful activities, right? Control the mind and senses. Why? So that we don't commit sinful activities. So once we get accustomed to not committing sinful activities, then we can, in our case, we can take the next step. And what is the next step? So it is that I am free to engage in devotional service. Because I have material desires, therefore I will do little bit for Krishna and then little bit for myself to fulfill my material desires. I'm not able to give my 100% to Krishna. So there's always this division between my material desires and for Krishna. It's constant. So it's a tussle. So the more we become advanced, the more and more we become advanced, the lesser I will have material desires and the more I will want to do for Krishna. And this is classically explained in the case of Arjuna. Right, Bhagavad Gita. This is the classic example of how Arjuna had certain material desires and how he completely gave them up to surrender to Krishna's wish. Absolutely and completely. So the more we surrender to Krishna, the more the sinful reaction go away. Meaning there is no suffering, in other words. So, yogis are very powerful. What is their power? That they are able to control their mind and senses. That is their power. It's like a switch. The body, soul, body, mind, and soul. So the more you become Krishna conscious, the more you're dissociating yourself from your mental and your physical body. And the physical body is connected through the mind. So as yogis, you are able to shut the switch for sense gratification. It's within your control. We read earlier how Ajamil, when he saw a wrong scene, so it described that he took advantage of that situation. And his mind became polluted by like a graha. So now as bhakti yogis, the more we chant the holy name, the more we engage in direct devotional service, the more we have the capacity to switch off the switch for sense gratification. And we are able to do it because Balaram is helping us. Right? So what we are reading here. The power of Balaram. So let's read it again. So there was a fight between the Kauravas and the Vrishni dynasty, the Yadavas. So Balaram came to rescue Samba, who was arrested by the Kauravas. There was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, right? Meaning that if I'm fighting with my sense gratification, my desires for sense enjoyment, and it's not getting settled, I'm not able to release it. Balaram showed his power in such a way that all of Hastinapur trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Now, how to uproot that material desire which is harassing me? Right? Material desires, they actually harass a soul and make the person do really bad things. We just read what Ajamil did. He threw out his family. He went off with that woman. He squandered his entire inheritance and he started doing all types of theft, plunder, whatever he was doing. The whole list is given what he was doing. So, Balaram said, what did he do? He became like an earthquake. he became like an earthquake. He caught hold of Hastinapur and he was ready to throw off Hastinapur in Yamuna. Then the matter was settled. And Samba married Dhiradanstupa. The purport. What is the purport? The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram, the Supreme Person Godhead, whose protective power is so great that it cannot be equaled in the material world. Meaning that our material desire belongs to the material world. By material means, we cannot uproot our material desire. It's only spiritual power that can remove that anartha. Powerful the reactions of one's sins. They will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hari Krishna Balaram Om. So again, see Krishna's Leela like this Arya Krishna. We should study this again. Go to VIHE.com. Bhakti Chaitanya Swami has given series and series of classes on different topics. And he has spoken about the anarthas, the demons killed by Krishna. The Vrindavan demons, how Krishna killed and which anartha is being killed. So please, I'm just doing my best here, but as I'm saying, I'm incomplete. All right, text 17. Testani aghani punyanti tapodhana vrata vidhi na dharma jam tatritayam tat apishram visevaya. Priya Manjari.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Translation. Although one may neutralize the reaction of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, one serves the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42, Bhakti Parishanu Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra Cha. Devotional service is so powerful that one who performs devotional service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. All desires within this material world are sinful because material desires mean sense gratification, which always involves action that is more or less sinful. Pure bhakti, however, is anyabhilashrita shunyam. In other words, it is free from material desires, which results from karma and jnana. One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires and therefore he is beyond sinful life. Material desires should be completely stopped. Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, and charity may free one from sin for the time being, one's desires will reappear because his heart is impure. Thus, he will act sinfully and suffer.
Yes. So, Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, Mat. These are the sinful desires in the heart. Right? And they manifest in many, many ways. So, Prabhupada is explaining here that all material desire, all desires within this material world are sinful. Why? Because material desire means sense gratification. So when we have a desire for sense gratification, what do? We are going to do some action which is more or less sinful. More sinful or less sinful, but more or less sinful. Whatever it may be. So, devotional service is so powerful that one who performs devotional service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. So if we are engaged in devotional service, which is contrary to material activities. Pure bhakti, however, is anya vilashita sunyan. In other words, it is free from material desires, which result from karma and jnana, meaning that when I engage in some material activity, it deposits a seed for more of such activity. Whatever it may be that we are doing, it just deposits that seed in my heart, and I'm not able to get rid of it. Whether it is karma or jnana. Karma, this everybody, all of us, we know, we are all engaged in different types of work where Krishna is not involved, where it's all about me, my family, and maybe my community, but Krishna is not involved. Jnana meaning that I'm just intellectual, heavily intellectual. I like to read this book, that book, this book, that book, and I get so many ideas. I like to be a journalist. I like to be eloquent in my speech, whatever, just to show off my knowledge, you know. Jnana. So long as there is no Krishna, then I'm going to feed my material desires from my actions or from my mental speculation or my intellectual pursuits. When I am doing devotional service, I'm doing it for Krishna only. I'm not in the picture. Right? I'm not at all in the picture. I'm doing it for Krishna only. And Krishna's service means Krishna himself, his devotees, his mission. So here Prabhupada is very strict. He's saying, material desires should be completely stopped. It's almost like an order. Material desires should be completely stopped. And we can stop it. Otherwise, why will Prabhupada write this? You can stop it. How are we going to stop it? And this, how are we going to stop it?
When we surrender
Yes,
and chanting will help.
yes. First thing is that I should say no. I myself, I should say no. Right? This is what we discussed earlier. There's a switch in the body, right? I should switch off that switch. I should say no. I don't want this. Then God help those who help themselves. Right? Strictly Prabhupada is saying material desire should be completely stopped. Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, and charity may free one from sin for the time being, one's desires will reappear because his heart is impure. And then what will he do? Again, he will act sinfully and again he will suffer. Text 18. Agyana dakha vagyana itama shloka namasya namayat sankirtitam akum kumso dahet egho yatha nalaha. Amrita, Anand Vilasu.
Hare Krishna. Translation. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reaction of one's sinful activities. Purport. Fire will act regardless of whether handled by an innocent child or by someone well aware of its power. For example, if a field of straw or dry grass is set afire, either by an elderly man who knows the power of fire or by a child who does not, the grass will be burned to ashes. Similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. But if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions.
So, as a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions from one's sinful activities. All right. So we are discussing the power of the holy name. But as we become more advanced, remember when we take Diksha, all right? When we take Diksha, we are told something very specific. What are we told when we take Diksha? All of you here are initiated. What were you told when we took Diksha?
But follow the regulative principles and
principles
chant
and
chant 16 rounds.
That's all.
Ekadashi, do Ekadashi,
Follow Ekadashi.
follow Ekadashi.
That's all you were told.
Read Prabhupada's book.
Read
You know,
books, have good association, all that.
You know, Bhakti Charu Swami, one time right here, I keep saying this. He was about to give Diksha. And there were not only first initiation who were going to happen, but second initiation also, right here. Then he said, okay, one by one, tell me what?
Aparada, offenses.
Yes.
Don't do offenses, okay.
Okay. So when you take Diksha, you are told you are not taking a vow to chant 16 round and full of regular principles. You are told, you're instructed. What? Hereby
Offenses.
To avoid the offenses
to
or reduce the
avoid,
anarthas.
to avoid the 10 offenses. Right? And among the 10 offenses are this list here, inattentive chanting. Right? To commit sinful activities and the
Focus on
strength
the
of
strength
chanting
of the holy name.
Right? To consider the chanting of
Because the holy
name
name
be
and
one of the ritualistic
realistic process.
activities mentioned in the Karmakand
Yeah.
section of the Vedas. To disobey the instructions
Instructions of the spiritual
the
master.
spiritual master. To believe, to think that the holy name is just imagination, it doesn't have that power, or to give an interpretation of the holy name of the Lord. Right? So here this section is impressing upon us the power, the potency of the holy name. But it doesn't mean that if I'm initiated, if I will chant like this, everything will be all right. So conscious, deliberate chanting is required. Do you agree with this?
Mm.
Do you agree with this?
Yes.
So fire will act whether handled by an innocent child or someone well aware of its power. Example is given here, fire burns dry grass to ashes, whether an elderly person or a child. Fire will burn and put the grasses to ashes. Similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. But if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions. And one more point is coming to my mind. That even if you don't attend any course on chanting the holy name, but you chant as you've been directed to chant, you are going to get the result. Agreed?
Yes.
All right?
Mm.
You don't have to take the trouble to go sit in Vrindavan, in Govardhan, for 5 days and chant with others and listen. No need. No need at all. You just chant Hare Krishna, you will get it. But when gradually you stop chanting, why devotees stop chanting? Because they don't know the value of the holy name. They don't appreciate the gift they've been given. Right? This supreme gift, we don't take advantage of this supreme gift. I'm just listening to some classes, it's like how devotees come and then gradually they just give up one by one, they start giving up, all the different, not only the different angas, but even the external things of being a devotee. Then one day you just find yourself where you were before, totally, completely the way you were before. So this one Maharaj is saying that exactly the same point that you were before you become a devotee, you go back to that point again. When you start chanting, you start doing all the different activities of bhakti, you are moving very fast, extremely fast. But as soon as you stop the practice, wherever you were in the material world, I'm speaking with all our piety, our goodness, everything, you will go back to that level and you can't move. Yeah, let's do open more. Yes. यदृक्षया अजानत्योऽप्यात्मगुणं Who wants to read now? Devahuti?
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation: if a person, unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine, takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge, because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Wow. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. Purport: in the Western countries where the Hare Krishna movement is spreading, learned scholars and other thoughtful men are realizing its effectiveness. For example, Dr. J. Stilson Judah, a learned scholar, has been very much attracted to this movement because he has actually seen that it is turning hippies addicted to drugs to pure Vaishnavas who voluntarily become servants of Krishna and humanity. Even a few years ago, such hippies did not know the Hare Krishna mantra, but now they are chanting it and becoming pure Vaishnavas. Thus, they are becoming free from all sinful activities, such as illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling. This is a practical proof of the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna mantra, of the Hare Krishna movement, which is supported in this verse. One may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one somehow or the other chants it, he will immediately be purified, just as one who takes a potent medicine will feel its effect, regardless of whether he takes it knowingly or unknowingly. Good.
I think we have already discussed this point. That so if a person unaware, see here the glory of chanting knowingly or unknowingly is being discussed. And for me, I'm just saying that beware. Don't just take advantage
Of,
of
yes,
these, right? Because you may land up in the soup, all right? So, yes, even though I may be, my mind is distracted, etc., still I chant. I'm making the effort to chant. Like so many people will say, oh, why should I chant 16 rounds? Better I chant one mantra only, but one good mantra, right? You heard people say this.
yes.
And we have to convince them, no, chant 16 rounds. My mind is going to say, no, chant 16 rounds, right? Why? Because the order has been given to us to chant 16 rounds. Prabhupada said the standard, chant 16 rounds. So I chant 16 rounds. No deviation from that order. Whether I understand why Srila Prabhupada has said chant 16 rounds or not, my duty is to obey, right? So if a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge because its potency doesn't depend on the patient's understanding, right? So by force, we usually say, don't force the children, right? We all repeat this line, don't force the children, don't force the children, right? All of us, every parent, every preacher, everybody, you know. So, Bhaktivika Swami, so he's giving class, and this one person, obviously a parent, will say, Maharaj, so I don't know exactly what he was saying, then said about something like, so we don't force the children. And before he could even ask the question, Maharaj just cut and say, you force your child to go to school. Force your child to go to school. So anyway, Maharaj said it. So we are afraid that if we will force our child to follow regulative principles or to bow down in front of the deities, to do little pujas, light a lamp, offer flower, if we force them, then they will run away or whatever we think, right? Bhakti Vikas Swami said, you force your child to go to school, right? And again in Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada says, gradually, the person gets the taste for studying and he becomes a learned scholar. By himself, he wants to go to school. Unless he's been put in the wrong school, studying the wrong subjects. He has to study mathematics when he has no interest in physics, and he hates it. So the Vedic school was very natural. So, yes, beat that mind. Training is to be given. Yeah. So the practical proof of the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is that they, by chanting, they are giving up all these activities. So now why is it that we again fall into these sinful activities? Why? Because
The seed is
chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is being done with the 10 offenses. So therefore, we should know again and again and pay attention to these 10 offenses. What is the first offense?
Chantal.
जो भगवान के भक्त हैं उनकी निंदा करना.
Sadhu Ninda. So if when you come to the temple, your talk is only about criticizing the devotees, then what will happen? You fight. I mean, this is my personal experience. Then say, no, I don't want to come to the temple. What's the use of coming? Say, why? What happened? Whenever we meet and sit, we fight. Why do we fight? Sadhu Ninda. Right? So like this, one may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but if one somehow or other chants it, he will be immediately purified, just as one takes a potent medicine, will feel its effect regardless of whether he chants, he takes it knowing or unknowing. Remembering my Guru Maharaj saying how when you go to Africa, so in Africa, so people like to dance. So they chant and they dance, and they very much like to dance. So, like this statement, chant and dance in ecstasy. This is very much visible when you go and you do Harinam, you do Prasad distribution in the African countries. So everybody is wondering, how come, the African who have no connection at all with Krishna, right? How is it that they are chanting and dancing in ecstasy? Right? Whereas with us, after some time, we don't want to pull our legs, we don't even want to come to the temple, we don't want to take darshan, we don't want to sit with devotees, etc., etc., etc. What? So, explain, and others also explain, because these people are innocent, they are not committing any offenses. Therefore, what is being described here, jokingly, musical entertainment, right? Whatever it may be, they are chanting innocently, and therefore the holy name is pulling them up. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I'm really straining myself over Zoom, I must say. I'm not able to teach this very intense subject over Zoom. I'm straining myself because you're all virtual pictures on my screen, and therefore I'm not able to connect sufficiently. But I hope that whatever it pass on, I hope it has some meaning for you. So we'll meet on Wednesday. Right? Hare Krishna. It's third person who is Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare